decide where to start. But let's start here. Well, let's start with the reclamation. I guess why this ministry, even though this is a road, I guess fall under the road project, the Ministry of Environment is dealing with this because I think the larger project is for a reclamation, well, a bit more, significantly more reclamation to happen in this area. But as a first phase, we are tasked with at least trying to get in, I guess, what is being dubbed a bypass road. So it starts right here by the church. What church is that? The James Young area, right next to Harbor View Restaurant. No, not the Catholic Church. The Church of God Holiness. Yeah, that's the one. Holiness. Yeah. Yeah. So literally on the opposite side of that, where there are a lot of boats and what have you, dry docked here, and it literally comes at the back. And all of this is, for the most part, reclaimed land, and it exits by, there's an apartment building here, or whatever color that is. Don't trust me with the color, but you know what I mean. Just as you pass I think this is the new version of that church up here, down here. So just beyond that, when you make that slight curve, it comes out there. So the Premier mentioned earlier that we met on site a couple of weeks ago. We were standing in this area with Public Works and Survey Department, Town and Country Planning, Ministry of Environment, and some other folks on site. And essentially the discussion focused on this entire watershed and how do we deal with the water that would eventually come down, that's supposed to end up in the bay. The gut right there by the police station empties, I think, about right here. And then there's another smaller gut coming down here by the Adventist church that, well, this is all blocked, so it sort of backs up, but it should empty here. And I think there are other points where the water would empty into the harbor. So Public Works came back over the past couple of weeks on site to deal with that larger issue of the water runoff, as well as deal with the surface in terms of how durable this surface is to take a road, because as I said, this is all reclaimed land. And actually tomorrow afternoon at about 2:33 p.m., we will have a follow-up meeting in office where the Public Works Department will report on what their findings are in this area with respect to how this road will work eventually, and what would need to be done to make it, I guess, a usable area. Now, what the Premier has asked is that whilst we're looking at this in two phases, if you will, the road being one phase and the reclamation being another, he also wants us to tackle, if you will, the road in a phased approach. So most likely the very first phase of this road project will start here, obviously, and will come out somewhere in the area where the festival area, as a first phase. And the thinking is that Communication and Works, I guess, could speak to this when they come on, is that when some of the heavier sewage work is going on in this area, this road, that this will be used, I guess, to ease some of the congestion to some degree. You will notice here there's a red outline. This is the one place where this road, if it remains on solid ground, passes over people's property. So if that becomes an issue, if negotiations, doesn't really go anywhere, then this red area is the proposed diversion. Now that creates another problem for us because it gets into marshy lands and could, create other issues that I guess, quite frankly, we probably don't want to have to deal with at this point in time. So on the next update, once Public Works comes back with their findings, then we will have something more concrete to say about this road. And the last thing I'll say on this before I guess we entertain questions and then we move to Brandywine Bay and other areas is that they will also try to give us an idea of the cost implications to put this bypass road in, So, okay, so that said, that's a very high-level overview, simply because we don't have any specifics in terms of the soil type and how the water will be dealt with. That bit of information I will have tomorrow afternoon. So, Premier, I think we could stop there and then on this project entertain questions before we move to the other one.
Okay, so as the PS described there, the first phase of the project is going to be establish a road along that coast. In terms of how we deal with these, PS, how we'll deal with these leases, here, I mean, that could be a separate conversation that we can have with persons who have, of course, legitimate claims, etc. But what we want to do is establish new property that would be controlled by the Crown and that could be developed as one contiguous space for development so that we can open up the full benefits of our tourism product to the 7th and 8th districts. So you're talking about potential hotel development. Let's think about a concept of Wickham's Keek. Think of a concept of Pear Park, etc. So you have the opportunity now to have virgin space that can be developed primarily to enhance the tourism product. We have the airport expansion, which perhaps maybe the minister could say a few words about that, happening. When you get those planes coming in, Delta, United, American Airlines, etc., you're going to need more tourism type investments. Okay? And the concept is, because my good cousin Devin George, he put out a post and spoke about whether the East is going backwards or forwards. If we really want the East to go forward, and you speak about other areas which are moving forward, other areas moving forward because they are part of the economy, and we depend on two main pillars here: financial services and tourism. And tourism is the pillar that's going to bring a lot more growth to the Virgin Islands. I just came from the Turks and Caicos. Turks and Caicos has a quality tourism product there. They see probably about 2.1 million guests a year. They probably have maybe about 800,000 or 900,000 overnight guests. The reason why they have all of those overnight guests is because they have the rooms. Most of our rooms are underwater, which is fine. It's a good product for us as well. But if you want to be able to get more charter boats, you're going to need more marina. You're going to need more hotels. That means more jobs. That means more small businesses getting contracted from the hotels. That means that more provisioning for the supermarkets. That means more activities, water-based activities, land-based activities for the tourists to do. That means more taxi drivers to drive. So if you want the East to go forward, you're going to need an economic project that's going to guarantee the prosperity of this area for generations to come. Right? That's what we need. We need, if you want to see some of the challenges that we have in the area improve, you're going to have some economic drivers. And that's what this project can be for the 7th and the 8th district. And I believe we have a concept that can work. I was told to clarify as well that we're not going to interfere with any of the existing marinas. So we're doing the development where we don't have any marinas. Okay? And if we have anybody who have any docks, I'm not sure if there'll be government-sanctioned docks or whatever else. We'll have to have a conversation about how we deal with that.